Hi, I'm Kayla from Kayla Cooks on TV. Today we'll be making fresh pasta from hand. So first we're going to start with some semolina flour. So this is just some Bob's Red Mill semolina flour. Usually I would recommend using 00 semolina flour, but if you want you can use any combination of semolina and just durum wheat flour. Typically fresh egg pasta is made with semolina flour, which is kind of a little bit finer flour than kind of like your wheat flour, but you know, whatever you like. Typically dried pasta is made with only durum wheat flour, not semolina, so that's kind of a difference between fresh egg pasta and your dried pasta that you would get at the store. So I've already weighed out 100 grams of semolina flour, so I'm just gonna put that here on my countertop, and I've already wiped down this countertop, and you definitely want to do this on a clean surface. It's kind of crucial to the technique. So what I'm doing right now is just making a little well in the flour, so I can actually see the countertop it's like a little, kind of like a volcano basically. And I'm going to take a little bit of salt, just like a pinch, I don't know, whatever you want, and drizzle that over the top of that. And I'm going to take my egg. So so far I've just got 100 grams of semolina flour, 1 egg. I'm just using a medium egg, but you could use large, whatever. If you're making, this recipe serves about 4 people, give or take. So if you're making pasta for more, I would recommend doubling or tripling the recipe. And so yeah, just some regular salt. So I'm gonna crack my egg, and I'm gonna put it in the middle of my flour mound and just empty that whole egg in there. And I'm going to take my extra virgin olive oil, and I'm just going to use a little bit and add that into the well. I don't know, maybe like a teaspoon, something like that, whatever floats your boat. Then I'm going to take my fork, and this part's really important. You just want to slowly incorporate the egg and the flour together. So I'm just going to almost kind of scoop some of my flour into my well, and slowly your egg will start to run out of your well. That's okay. Just kind of combine it, break up the yolk, and this is going to be kind of a slow process. Alright, so when we got our egg kind of loosely incorporated with our flour, I'm just going to start using my hands to try and get this to kind of combine. Alrighty, so now you can see that I've got my dough, and it's pretty well combined. There's a little bit of dry semolina flour on the outside that was just kind of on the counter. That's okay. Next, you're going to want to wrap up the pasta, and you're going to let it sit at room temperature for 30 minutes. And we're going to just wrap this in plastic wrap. That'll give the dough a chance to rest. And when after the dough has had a chance to rest, then we'll knead it out, and it'll be ready to be rolled out. Alright, so it's been about 30 minutes, and our dough's had time to rest, and again, just wrap that tightly in plastic wrap. So next we're going to knead it a little bit, just a little bit, and basically what I'm doing is I'm just folding the pasta like on top of itself, and then putting a little pressure and kind of pushing it up. So you're just going to do this until some air kind of gets into the dough. Next, after you've rolled out the dough, you're just gonna flatten it out, and you can use a rolling pin. I've got a pasta machine, so I probably don't need one, but if you don't have a pasta machine and you're just gonna make this by hand and use a knife to cut your pasta, you'll definitely need a rolling pin. Alright, so we've got our pasta, and right now I'm just gonna, my pasta maker's on 1, and I'm just gonna throw it through our flat end of our pasta maker. And as you can see, the dough is just coming out the bottom. And it's okay if it breaks, it's not a big deal. first time through the pasta maker is just trying to pull out any residual air bubbles that might just be kind of sticking in our pasta. Alrighty, so once we've got out all the air bubbles, we run it through the pasta maker 2 more times. So we're gonna fold it into the middle, just like that, and just kind of pat it down. Alright, so that was our first one. We'll just fold it again and run it through 1 more time. Alright, perfect. So we've got our nice first flat sheet. So next we're gonna move our pasta maker to our second setting, and for, you know, whichever thickness of pasta you desire, I mean, is completely up to you, but I like to make mine pretty thin, similar to like a commercial product. So I'm just gonna run this through, and so each number basically just makes the pasta sheets thinner, and once they start to get longer, you definitely want to cut them down. It'll make running it through the machine a little bit easier. So I'm just going to cut this so it's a little bit more manageable. So I've got my 3 sheets, and I just ran this sheet through setting number 3, so I'm going to move up to 4, and I'll probably get to 6 or 7 because I'm planning on doing like a spaghetti or a, you know, some type of shaped pasta. Alright, so once we've rolled out all our pasta, we are either going to cut it or shape it or whichever. Usually when I'm doing like lasagna noodles, for example, I just take these nice long sheets right here and just cut them to size. But since today I'm making fettuccine noodles, I've got my attachment on my pasta maker, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to lay out the cut pasta onto just like I've just got a moist dish towel here. And this is just to keep the pasta from sticking to itself. So we're just gonna take our sheets, and on the front of our pasta maker right here is fettuccine, and on the back is spaghetti. So whichever you're feeling, or you know, if you're gonna do ravioli or whatever, you obviously wouldn't need to run it through this. So I'm just gonna take my pasta and just gently run it through, and as you can see, the fettuccine noodles are starting to come out the bottom. You just want to kind of keep an eye on that, and depending on the length of your noodles, you can definitely cut them down. As you can see, whoops, oh well. These are pretty long. It'd be kind of hard to eat this with a fork. So I'm just gonna cut down my noodles, and probably want to do this before you run it through the shaper, but I mean, really doesn't matter. So we're just gonna lay out the pasta, and again, with this fresh egg pasta, it can be frozen. The only thing is you want to make sure that the noodles aren't super tangled up, and I would probably coat it with a little bit of flour just to ensure that they don't just get like all stuck together, and then you just have like a heap of noodles and not really pasta. So we're gonna take the rest of our sheets and we're just gonna run them through the shaper. And with fresh pasta, like, it takes maybe 2 to 5 minutes to cook. So you're just gonna put it into some boiling salted water, and once the pasta floats to the surface, it's done and it's ready to be drained and served. Just make sure that you got some adequate salt in your water and should be good to go. Anyways, well, I hope you try making some fresh pasta at home, and I'll see you soon.